music over the fucking, you can hear it in the video? Oh. It won't get copyrighted because there's no one knows what the fuck it is. If you had to pick your top 5 moments in every day, what would they be from day to day? Like if you get 3 things in one day, what are you happiest most about? No, like besides the basics, besides eating, sleeping, like little things like people like to work out. Like what is it?
I'd say workout is one.
Yeah, right.
What else? Watching the shows.
Mine's taking a dump. Like a fucking really good dump. That just sets my day off right. I know there's more people like that. There was a study that came out, I don't even know if it was real, said that it warned people about spending more than 10 minutes at a time sitting on the toilet. And I like far surpassed that. I was late meeting you guys because I was just sitting on the toilet, posting videos and fucking taking a shit. And just thinking about how good it felt. So I understand that, you know there's people that only shit like every few days? Have you heard that? How many times do you shit?
Once or twice.
You're like a once or every 2 days. You're backed up. You're backed up, dude. You have no fiber in your diet. It's potato chips and fucking shawarma. No. Yeah, you gotta get the dumping up. Yeah, so we're not gonna do fucking legs because I did legs the other day and I'm fucking tired today. But we did a lot of stuff at the other gym where it was like single leg extension. You can do single leg off double leg. There's no reason not to, other than the fact that you're limited by range. When I do a single leg off a double leg, I can get extension, but I can't get much negative because I meet my other leg. Only one leg I can hang out, get more range, right? So if you're one of these people like us now where we're in a gym with double, we haven't talked about this in a long time, but the idea is that I don't want to engage my leg extension by squeezing my butt and then firing my feet. But the idea isn't to like get myself ready to like kick the shit out of this thing and send it fucking up to the ceiling, right? The idea is to feel pressure on my shin, so immediately I should be able to rock on my shin without my feet doing this. I don't want my foot jacked up like this all the time. My foot is just relaxed. I'm just putting my foot on the pad. So I'm kicking it like a Muay Thai guy would kick a bag. I wouldn't like have my toes up and break my foot, right? So I'm on my shin. So if I can keep that shin pressure and know that shin pressure, that starts to relax up here. Because I just know that I'm rocking on this lower half of my leg. So when I go to roll in, this is in the way, but my legs will converge and my feet will turn out. So my legs are dead here, my butt is mush, I'm moving in and squeezing. So I'm almost corkscrewing out, and the same thing, my feet are dead. My quads are fired and I have tension, but my feet are able to move. Because I have that shin pulling. The shin's pulling my legs under, pulling my leg over this thing, and I'm rocking back through it. So I want to feel like the tension slides down my shin, rocks back up my quad. So I want to be able to roll and converge through stuff. As things get heavier, the range is going to be less and less. It's not like every leg extension should get full extension. It's not the point of it. We're trying to stay within tension. So if I'm stretched here, and my legs are feeling like they're being pulled down and I'm laying back on the back pad, I'm locked down here so I can pull myself in the seat and I can move through things up through. So I roll my legs in and slide. If I notice that my feet are too wide, I get my toes to touch down here. I really flare my quads and I roll in. I'm rolling through things. If that range only starts to be here, but we're still moving and on tension, that's fine. Don't think that every leg extension has to get up to here. I don't need to get full extension like to be able to like feel this thing. And you see these guys like, it's understandable to like, if a guy's like 3/4 of the way up, maybe more than that, 3/4 of the way up, he's about here, and you want him to sit and squeeze, get this that top range. But as long as you're not doing gear and going or like kicking, the idea is to keep the tension, right? So if you can keep the tension and have someone assist you while you're still doing the majority of it and let it back down, that's another thing. Another thing is when you guys do negatives or force negatives on a leg extension, so you have a guy hold up here. If I'm holding this up, so if I'm holding this here, come over here and push on this. Like you're gonna push my feet down, push on the pad. You don't want to be pushing so hard that the guy's like this. Like, and he can't fight it, right? He says, I'm gonna fucking, it's gonna cause more problems. If you guys wanna do holds or contractions with negative tension, bring it up here and then break a bit. Then have the guy push down and push with you, resisting as you're coming down. So he's pushing you down, you're resisting the negative. I'm not just trying to hold a contraction and fight against someone pushing on me. I'm trying to like slowly control that negative so I'm getting more out of the negative, right? So you see these guys, they'll like fucking, some guy will put half the stack on and then the guy's like on it like, come on man, come on, like, and the guy's like, ah, like, and you're wondering why like later in life or like down the road you're developing like these knee tendonitis issues. It's like your fucking knee is locked out, bro. You're on a joint. You're on a completely locked out line of joint. And it's like the midpoint of that joint is taking all the pressure and it's getting pulled down over, right? It's like me trying to hyperextend my leg or my arm. I'm like pushing on here and this junction here is getting all the pressure, except for my knee bends, right? So it's like fighting through that and making that more intense. Like I'd rather have someone rock out of the bottom and get quarter reps, like just kicking to where they can and then lower the weight, kicking to where they can. Because all we care about really is the stretch and the contraction to where the contraction can happen. So if my contraction only rises out to here and it has to go back down, that's fine. I'm not like, I need to kick up as hard as I can, hold it, and then take it all the way back so that literally my ass is lifting out of the seat and then I'm trying to fucking fling this thing back. It's like, it's not about that. You guys aren't all Tom Platz. Tom Platz did that shit because his legs were like ungodly. You guys don't know who Tom Platz is. The negative of a leg press, when it's, your feet are locked out and the leg press is coming at you, you should think of it as not like, oh my God, the weight's coming on me, I have to get the fucking thing off me. It's, I really want to think that I'm pulling my legs to me. We'll show in a minute. I want to feel like my legs are like, I'm locked out and my feet are at me and I'm literally pulling my leg to me and then pressing my leg out. I'm not trying to go, ha, and like catch the weight, right? So on the hamstring, we've done this before as well. Different machines are different. Like this is different obviously than this. It's a drastically deeper of an angle, different heights of the hip. But I mean, you're gonna find this hamstring curl in most gyms, like any commercial gym is gonna have this. Like I'd be shocked if your gym doesn't have this in its commercial gym. So the idea here is that I wanna create enough tension so we can be here. Guys start with their legs locked out and they're hanging here and then they get down here and they're super tight and they just do this like flex up into their hamstring, which is fine. Like I'm just being rigid. I can't get much extension. I don't get much pull on my hamstring or stretch, but I'm just rocking up through this super tense, like fucking rigid range. Whereas I would prefer to be here. I have my hips pressed, my feet are loose again. So I'm not jacked in my feet, I'm on the heels, on my Achilles. So when I'm down, my hips are flat here, I'm pushing in my hips and I'm rocking here. So my ability to move is from here like a teeter-totter. So this is the top of one side of the teeter-totter, my heels are the bottom. So if this bottom comes up, this top has to go forward and rock through. But it's not just going and falling. Like I'm moving with the tension that's on my heels is dictating how fast I fall forward. So I'm reaching up, relaxing, getting tension. I don't ever truly straighten my knee. I extend my heels and I slide down, right? So all you guys, I've seen people copy this or do shit like it. They think it's just like, I'm getting height to fall. So if I fall very hard, then I can rip my heels to my butt and kick myself and let myself fall. But it's literally like, you have to think of it as a teeter-totter. So if you guys have kids out there, you were a kid, I'm sure you remember like, when the one kid's down and the other one's up, they have to equally balance each other out. One side's too heavy, this side doesn't go down anymore, right? So it's like you have to work with that balance, understanding that your hip is the axis in the middle that's controlling each side of that teeter-totter. So my hip allows me to rise, I pop up and down each side. Up and down each side. So it's just reminder shit. I don't have an Instagram anymore, so all my videos are new. So you can go over everything again. See how that guy has the QR code on the back of his sweater over there? So I thought about doing that, but then I was like, how many people are gonna be like behind my back, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I don't like, as people know, I don't like having cameras pointed at me, so that'll probably lead to problems. It's like, or you have it on your car, guys have it on their car and shit, and people are driving by like, there's one guy had a QR code on the back of his shirt and his When people scanned it, it said "fuck you." When like they took notice and it said "fuck you." Different leg presses are different depths. So when I do this leg press, I'm sure other people will find too. If I do this without the pad, not that it's going to be drastically different visually, but if I do this without the pad, I'm so set deep in this hip that when I'm locked out here, ooh, when this comes at me, it's hard for me to find out where I should put my feet, other than my feet naturally want to be like right there, for my hip to be in line with my pelvis, with my feet. If I'm up here, I'm already feeling like these hips are rolling out onto me. So I feel like the weight's dropping into me and I can't get enough depth or leverage and I'm pressing. So when this happens in your gym, if you have that feeling where like every leg press rep feels like it's like my butt's rolling out of the seat and I'm trying to push down, or I can't get enough depth no matter where I put my feet, because obviously I don't want to be pushing with the fucking balls of my feet here. It's not a good idea, but this is the range I want, right? So what you're gonna do, so you're gonna grab one of these fucking wonderful yoga blocks, sit your ass on it, and create more height. So I've taken away that deep range. Now I can get my feet on and I can lock out straight ahead like I should. Instead of feeling like I'm above, my hips would be usually down here, sitting this low, my feet would be up and I'd be pitched up already. Now I'm just straight. So when I crack my heels and I set my feet, my legs feel like they're balanced, these feet feel like they're flat. So then it's a matter of pulling in, it's a matter of pulling in and relaxing to depth and firing. Then it comes down to your preference of where this is, where your head position needs to be for your back to be flat. But as leg presses come at you, you don't want to get more tense and more erect. I want to just be flat in my back. So you can't put your hand in any area of my back. You couldn't fit space. So I'm literally pulling into my back pad, relaxing, firing. So my hips flare, I relax, and I fire out through. If you want to do straight leg presses and do all this shit, you can too, but a full range leg press is superior to most lifts. And it's like your chance of injury and chance of like fucking tweaking shit is severely diminished because you're sitting down. And unless your back is literally like your bum's rolling out of the seat, it's like a little lift is okay because most of our weight is on here. Our goal isn't to keep our weight necessarily all on our ass pad. We just want to be in this crack. Whatever height we create that crack where this seat meets this back pad, that's where the pressure is, and the pressure's not on here, it's on here. So I think people get too caught up in understanding that like, I gotta keep, people are like, oh, don't let your butt come out of the seat. So they'll sacrifice like strain in their knees and their fucking back, being like, I need to keep my fucking ass down. And they get nowhere near as much range and they don't get as much depth and they don't get as much fire because they're so concerned about how deep this goes, especially when the block's not there. I'm so concerned about my butt lifting that when I'm here, I can already feel that my butt's about to lift. So if I was trying to keep my hips down, this is as far as I'd go. If I didn't understand that I can roll to my back pad and see how there's air under here now, and I press. But I didn't round my back. My back's flat as a pancake on this thing, so I'm just collecting weight in the back pad and then firing out, right? You can also remove the block once you've understood depth, and then this lower depth will be easy to get to because it'll be used to like understanding the hip will want to let go, right? But when you first get in it, some of them are like this one, especially the orange one right here, with like the slanted pad. That shit is hard to figure out, man. It's a weird angle. It's like, they stopped making those leg presses a long time ago. So I just stay away from them. We should get Bassett to do his example of everything. And then I'll just go around and be like, no, dude. So there's a million different ways, not a million, there's 4 or 5. You can put your back in there. You can squat up and down. Obviously there's squat pads too. I can use this facing out. Most people aren't gonna use it for that because what fucking fun is that? The angle sucks on that, it's no fun. So if I'm gonna be up in here, there's different ways to approach taking this off and setting it. Can you still hear me? If I'm up in here, you guys can see this is slanted. So I wanna have my shoulders in here, but if I wanna do more of a hinged back, I wanna sit back into this squat and really rock forward through things. I'm always thinking that I'm on this angle. So when I reach back, I'm gonna reach back and sit into depth. You're gonna see there's not much knee over toe, and I'm gonna drive forward through something like I'm launching forward. If I wanted to do that, my chest stays flush to this. So when I go to lift, this is gonna be on my chest. Just as much weight is on here as in my chest pad, right? On my shoulder. So if I do that hinge back one and I reach up here, I'm putting weight into this so I can lean forward. I have no hands. But my chest weight's on this so I'm balanced, right? So if I keep that same idea of having my chest up in this crack and chest pressure here, when I go to sit back, if I was to sit down straight down into this, it's awkward. It's gonna hurt my knees because my weight's too far forward. So I wanna feel like I'm drifting, almost like a stiff leg, and then I'm folding into depth. And then I'm rocking up through. So I'm not trying to get here and then stand straight up. I'm trying to drive that way. So all my pressing, like I said, it's on this angle. So I'm going back this way, I'm driving up that way. I don't come down here and then go up. You understand? So my momentum, my pressure goes back on a diagonal. I go right back diagonally into this corner junction right here. So I'm back. So stop going here and trying to go up. Because then you guys come down, I'm gonna fucking hurt myself probably demonstrating it. You guys will come down here and you'll reach way back, sit into your glutes and your hams, and then you'll go, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to push your hips forward out of something that doesn't need to push forward. If you want to do the opposite of that, you're gonna be further back in this. I'm gonna create distance between my chest and this. This is gonna act like a true shoulder pad. So my chest is still gonna be up, but as you can see, I'm nowhere near this. And I wanna treat this as almost like a bar across my chest, a front squat. So then I can be up taller in here and be a tighter stance. So I'm further back on these. So when I drop, I kick my hip and I kick my knees and I drop into that hole and rock up through. So I'm dropping down into stuff, rocking right up. So I have more knee over toe, and I'm following the path of this line, which isn't this one anymore, it's this line, straight down, straight up into here. So it's just finding your angles. You guys can do stiff legs off this too, obviously. You're gonna see every girl in the fucking gym doing this. Every girl in the gym will be here doing this, going like this. And stiff legging the fuck out of this, back and forth, right? So there's nothing new under the sun with that one, but if you wanna fucking learn how to squat on it. It's also a great alternative to doing front squats. Front squats are a fucking awesome movement, but they're so fucking hard to do, especially if you don't have the mobility or you don't have the fucking experience in lifting. Like, if I go to take, I'll do it over here, fuck it. There's so many variables in a front squat, that's why guys don't really do it anymore unless they're super experienced kind of lifters, but I should put some weight on this. This is all improv. Are you guys impressed? This is all improv. I didn't plan any of this. If you don't do a front squat like most people, I've never done this since my shoulder surgery, so this would go bad. I haven't done this. So I'm gonna be here on a front squat where I'm resting the bar across the front plane of my chest and my delt. So in essence, you see I'm underneath it the way I'm flat. Just like that pad was there. Except I have my hands out here, right, and I'm holding on to something. Here I'm bracing here so this bar doesn't roll forward out of me. I can keep my rib cage up. So when I go to squat in a front squat, it's not this and falling back. I have to keep my weight centered and forward, so I have to drop into things and then rock up. So I have to drop and then drive up through things, up through. Which is like, when I get to the bottom here, I immediately want to go, huh, unless I can keep this posture of coming up through stuff. This angle is not conducive because it doesn't angle. It's fucking straight down, and I'm not. So something like that, where you're squatting on an angle, alleviates that pressure at the bottom where you're like, oh fuck, and you gotta get up, right? Because if you don't keep this posture, when you're getting to the bottom here, and this drops a bit, you're fucking done. And imagine doing it with 4 plates, 3 plates. Imagine doing that ever for you. On any lift. As I did it with 10s 2 seconds ago. I'll show you on the Smith, but the Smith machines here don't go to the bottom, so can't get to the bottom with that. The biggest thing with RDLs is that people are, we talked about, I did a video on it with dumbbells, right? And it's just like learning to hinge from your hip. I can do an RDL standing still and feel tension in my hip if I understand that, like, I'm hinging. So if I understand how to do this and come back up, even with bent knees, I'm able to hinge here and understand that, like, my body stays still, my lower body just allows me to move. That's all an RDL is, but now you're holding something. But people like have made it this mythical thing, especially girls. And guys too, they get like a little fucking carried away. But they'll load a bar up, or fucking, you'll see them, they'll go over to the rack, these like little girls, and they'll like wrist wrap fucking 100-pound dumbbells, and you see them waddle back, and then they're like, it's like, just because you're moving the weight, all you're doing is getting a thick back. All that weight that you're holding in front of you and literally going down like this with your bent knees, you're going like this, is all in your back. It's the strain across the back of your shoulders and mid-back, and you're pulling up here. Your hamstrings have to do something, obviously, but they're not like what's generating the force. It's your back and your feet. So then they stand up and they're like, why is my waist getting thicker? Why is my back so dense? Why am I walking like this now? Like you see these girls and they're supposed to be bikini girls and they're like walking like this. Like, it's because you developed your erectors so much that you're literally like forward and you have no upper back, right? So it's just this idea of like, I just did that hinge on air. So if I'm setting my hip here and my hip's tucked in, I'm gonna set here and I'm gonna be able to tilt. So I can hold this tilt position, no problem with dead arms. And then I'm kicking from this hip and dropping over and down. And then I'm hinging my hip forward again. So my hip goes back, I fall over. All right, but the stability of my legs and my hamstring doesn't change. Neither does the change of my glute. So I don't get to the bottom and like go and like hinge in or push back or anything like that. I don't do that. So if you're gonna practice that, it's like I don't need a lot of range, especially if you're a stiff motherfucker. If you're stiff as shit and you're trying to do an RDL like this and like go all the way down, like cranking this fucking thing up, like this thing hits here, right? I could literally start this here, get myself into that hip hinge, have long arms, and just stand up through this. And use these hands as hooks and rock up. I don't need any more depth than that. Like I literally just be here, keep my chest up. So my chest is up, my shoulders are over my chest right now, my hips are up. I'm trying to slide my chest up between my arms. I'm trying to tuck my chest back, let my shoulders fall, reach over, rock back up. So don't think that this like, if I got to here, it would be better. It's like, no, I can feel my hamstrings like crazy. To be honest with you, the less movement you need on an RDL, the better, because the less chance you have of hurting yourself. Because if I start getting down into like thinking that my RDLs have to like touch my toes and come back up, the odds of shit happening in my lower back or tweaking my hamstring is like probably through the fucking roof in terms of like probably like 70% chance that you're gonna fucking hurt yourself at some point. Because all you're doing at that point is using momentum and just doing this. And nothing knows how to fire or lock down or stabilize, it just wants to get the weight back up. So you get all kinds of tweaking in your fucking back and hamstrings, right? So if you guys want me to like fucking do commentary or like roast you on your posing routine, or like just even if there's like footage of amateur shows, like crazy shit you've seen there, like if you have some, I want people to like send that to the Wicked Few Instagram, not my Instagram, I don't want it on mine. But I want to start doing like commentary over like shows that people want me to like roast them. It's just like make fun of their shit, but in a really nice way. We'll say some good stuff too, but just bust on the music choice or the fucking trunk choice. Guys wearing thongs on stage when they should be in fucking posing trunks. It's like fucking shit's up their ass.